Women, you need to stop doing this. Actually, it's quite a few things, but let's just start out with you need to stop masturbating. I bet that's not what you thought I was going to say. For the love of God, stop masturbating. Stop looking at porn. Stop masturbating. There is a epidemic of men that are struggling with porn, and men can't get it up today. I mean, we got men that like age 20, like early 20s, that are like struggling with impotence. It's insane. And I struggled with it in the past when I was younger, and I didn't know what was going on. I was like, what is this? But women, you guys are struggling with the same thing. You guys can't orgasm anymore. Women don't be orgasming anymore. And yes, there might be another factor to this. Most men are not really doing it today. I get it. Most men don't really, they're not really inspiring a lot of, submission. They're not that masculine, which I have other videos about. But your addiction to masturbation, especially with these power tools that you have. I don't even know all the things that you guys got. You got vibrators, you got different settings, you got different pulsing, you got different, gyration. You got, the rabbit thing that just goes a million miles an hour. Like you guys can just lay in bed at night and just go to town and get like 5 orgasms, 10 orgasms like in a row. Like do you know what you're doing? I think this is a way deeper issue, a way bigger problem than women are willing to admit. They're not willing to look themselves in the mirror and look at the darker habits that they're doing behind closed doors. You should not be masturbating. You should not be having promiscuous sex. You should not be having sex with men, just willy-nilly. Like, you need to save yourself for the right man. I'm here to tell you, if you want pleasure back in your life, you're going to have to take pain back in your life. You don't get one without the other. If you want to just feel good all the time and you want to masturbate all the time and just have promiscuous sex and F that guy and F that guy, or get into relationship after relationship, or sleep around while you're in a relationship. Meanwhile, you're drinking, or you're doing nicotine, or you're smoking weed or whatever. If you want to feel good all the time, there is a heavy price to pay. You will start to feel worse in the times that you're sober, and it will get progressively worse and worse and worse. You will start to have issues in your body, like not orgasming, like being depressed, like being anxious, like gaining weight. Because, that could be because of multiple things: poor diet, medications that you're on, which you probably shouldn't be on anyway. But the key problem here is you're not engaging with reality. The whole issue for society today, and it's not just men, it's women too, you are not engaging with your reality. You are escaping it. You are escaping it. The more you try to escape it, the more you'll feel as if you're not participating in this reality, because you are not here. You are not registering the emotions that you need to feel. You are not dealing with the pain that you need to be dealing with. You're not dealing with the horniness that you need to be dealing with. You're not dealing with the stuff. You're not saving all this pleasure for the right man, making yourself pure, choosing good habits. You attract what you are. Let me say that again. You attract what you are. If you want to have promiscuous sex and bounce from relationship to relationship, cheat while you're in relationships, masturbate all the time, look at porn, drink, do drugs, smoke weed, you will attract men that do that too. Men that aren't on their shit. Men that you cannot respect. Men that will not lead you on a more virtuous path. They will not lead you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. They will struggle with impotence. There will be attraction issues. There will be other issues because of their escapism that they're having. You are probably, if you're doing these things, you are not a healthy individual. You are dysfunctional in certain ways because of your escapism, because you've never actually dealt soberly with your emotions, with the pain of your life, with being horny for a long time, with the price of your life. You never actually built yourself as a woman. You're not engaging with reality. You're escaping it. And because of this, you are going to attract another dysfunctional man, dysfunctional men in your life. It's only going to create more dysfunction and more escapism, right? Masturbation is... I know women don't look at porn nearly as much as men, but it's on the rise. And, I don't necessarily know how these statistics are tallied up. I think it's like 37% of women look at porn, but I think it might be higher than that now. I saw one thing that says 60% now. Of course, men, it's like 85% or something like that, but it ruins, like, masturbation, porn, like just having sex all the time. It ruins your pleasure centers. It ruins the way that you look at the opposite sex. It ruins the way that you look at yourself. It ruins your ability to produce, to be able to orgasm, to be able to produce pleasure within yourself. It's the same mechanism in women that it is in men. Men are just overly active, just like jerking it all the time, having sex all the time, and they wonder why why the thing is beaten to death. Your brain is shot to death. Your pleasure centers are just shot because of all the crazy things that you're seeing on the internet that don't match up even close to what you'll get in real life. And for women, you're vibrant, like the things that you do down there, you're doing it at the right angle with the right pressure and the right speed. Like, oh yeah, a man ain't gonna be able to do that. You do that 5 times in a row, you are absolutely dopamine overload. I mean, and then you wonder why when a guy goes inside you, like, you can't get vaginal orgasm. Like, hello? You're fried. Women are fried. You're fried. Your brain is fried, your vag is fried, everything's fried, It's too much. It's not natural. It's not supposed to be like this. You are supposed to... It ain't right. That's why you can't feel connection with a man. That's why you can't even attract the right man, because you're not doing the right things yourself. Once you start doing the right things yourself, you attract the right man, and you can actually connect with him, right? There's a connection. There's something deeper there. You guys will absolutely attack each other, because you're so horny. But because of all the sexual discipline that you've built up, you realize that that is key to keeping the fire alive, right? It's not normal to just be going at it all the time. Although I will say, if you're only having sex with a human being and it's your partner, it's your lifelong partner, that is the way to do it. That is the best form of like consistent sexual activity. If you're not touching yourself at all, ever, you're not looking at porn ever, you're not sleeping with other men, obviously. Like if the only times that you get sexual stimulation are with him, that is the way you want to do it. But even then, I would recommend sexual discipline. You don't need to be having it all the time. The relationship needs sex, but it's not based on it. It doesn't need it all the time. It's not based on that. It has to be based on something more than that, right? And usually the more you like build up between times, I mean, just the better that it is, right? Women, y'all need to just, men need a wake up call, women need a wake up call. You cannot continue to escape. You are paying heavy consequences for it. You wonder why your life is just, you're anxious, you're depressed, you're super crazy emotional, you got no respect for men, no discipline, you kind of hate yourself, you drink too much, you drink alone, you just binge on tubs of ice cream watching Netflix, the next Bachelorette thing, or the next, a Love Island thing, or whatever BS that you guys watch. You smoke some weed, nicotine, more escapism, masturbate when you go to bed, with your little machine, and it's like, how are you going to get better? How are you going to get better as a woman? If you are doing those things, if that's the woman that you are, you're not going to attract a really high value man that's on his shit, that's on his grind, that you can respect, that you can follow, that you can admire, that you can get attached to, that you can fall in love with, because he's just so like, he's killing it in all areas. He's got a mind of his own. He can't be controlled. He's doing his thing. He does want a great woman, but great women are few and far in between nowadays. Same with great men, It's about the internal stuff. It's always about the internal stuff. Forget about external stuff, right? The great man that you want is not a man who just has an Audi and a mansion and a pool, right? You know that. And he's just, he has a great job and he's just constantly like working, whatever. It's not just that. Man has to be something more, right? He has to lead. He has to know who he is. Right? He can't just be beta and follow you around all the time and, yes, mommy, I'll do this. Yes, I'll do that. It can't be like that. It's about the internal man. It's about who he is really underneath, And the same for you. The same for women. The same thing applies. A real woman doesn't partake in these bad habits. A real woman is virtuous. A real woman is chaste. A real woman values herself, her sexuality. She knows that her body is sacred, right? Not just sacred when you want to have an abortion for the 5th time, and you're screaming about abortion, my right, my body, my right. No, not just then. Literally all the time. You have to treat your body like you love it. You can't just kill it with a machine. Kill it down there. Be looking at this thing on the internet, or, smoking weed, or drinking alcohol, or, partaking bad habits, eating bad, letting yourself go, not going to the gym. Like, you can't be that woman and expect to get a great man. You have to engage with how painful it is to actually be a woman, because it is painful. It's painful to be a man. It's painful to exist in this life. It's going to feel painful, especially when you're when you're coming off of all the distractions, all the escapes, all the forms of escapism, right? When you're coming off of that, you're finally engaging with your reality for probably the first time in your life without some sort of pleasure, dopamine stimulating thing. So yeah, it's going to suck. It's going to be really tough. And that's the signal. That's the information that you need. You need the pain. You need to feel all the difficult emotions. You need to feel super sexually frustrated to want to be better, because the only way that you'll satisfy the sexual frustration or alleviate it is to have sex with a man. But you don't want to just have sex with any man, right? Because now you got a better head on your shoulders. Now you want to save yourself for the right man. But to get the right man, you got to do even more work, right? You got to make yourself better here. You get better there. You got to go to the gym. You got to eat well. You got to start cooking. You got to start taking care of your place. Start making your place clean, taking care of yourself, not engaging in masturbation or promiscuous sex or anything like that. Saving yourself, practicing good habits, being a pleasure to be around, just let your personality blossom. Don't be combative. Don't be masculine. Embrace your femininity. Embrace the beautiful feminine being that you are. You are a beautiful, beautiful being. Don't try to be a man. That's not what the man that you're desiring wants. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want him. He wants the complete opposite of him, the complete polar opposite of him. If you want a dominant, strong, masculine, driven, virtuous, loyal, man that you can look up to, if you want that man, he's going to want the complete opposite of that in a woman. He's going to want you to support him, to want to help him on his journey, right? He's going to want you to be there with him, but he's going to want you to be feminine. He's going to want you to be sweet, nurturing, caring. You're our opposite. You are our opposite. Whether you're embracing it or not, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, it's very difficult in this time because everybody's been brainwashed. Feminism's done a number, but you are a man's opposite. And that is a beautiful thing. It doesn't mean that you have less power. It doesn't mean that none of that. It doesn't mean that you can't get, it doesn't mean that you need a man. It just means that we are completely different, just different beings. And in our difference, in our extreme difference, lies the attraction. That's where the true attraction lies. That's where the sexual attraction, the sexual fire is stoked, right? This is how we get men and women to really connect and love each other again, you know, in a virtuous way where we can, you know, we can do this thing right. We can do this thing healthy. We can get this thing back on track. This ship has been damn near sailed off the edge of the earth. My goodness. We can get it, we can steer it back on track. But it's going to take both, you know? It's going to take both men and women. But I'm here as a man to tell you this is what you need to do. These are good things. Not only do you need to do this, but these are good things to do. They will make you better as a woman. They will make you feel better in the long run. They will develop you mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. These are good things to do. These are virtuous habits. This is the path you want to be on. All right, that's it. That's the video.